Hello everyone, Death Stimulator here. So I'll talk about this during the video, but I decided I'd put it at the front for those interested. That way you can get it out of the way. If you're not interested in watching the full video, that's cool. So to kick off, this is just a really quick look at the shop and what some of the various bits of information mean and how they relate to your ship. So you've got your ship selection here. If you have any other ships, they're all displayed here. What port they're in. So at the moment we're actually in English Harbour, so we don't have any here, we don't have an outpost here. You have your sell option. If your ship's damaged, you'll have your repair option below it. And when you have a ship selected, when you're actually using that ship, you'll get the combat specifications. So max speed, turn rate, side structure, the bow, the stern, sails, and crew. Crew doesn't take into account if your vessel has extra hammocks, and if you've got, like extra hammocks as an upgrade. You can stack them that way. That's the only way you can stack upgrades, but we'll talk about that more in a minute. In the home menu, what you'll have is your ship selection, so you'll select your ship, then you have outposts. You can close an outpost at any time, which will give you a half refund. Or you can purchase one if you have a slot available. Buying a slot's 8,000. I don't know whether it increases or not. And then to actually buy the outpost, we'll actually just do this now. To buy the outpost itself, oh, there we go. That answers that question. 150,000 to get another outpost slot. Ouch. We're not going to buy one here because I'm not particularly interested in having a port in English Harbour at this time. But it'll be 10 grand if we wanted to open it. That's the outpost menu. Alright, then there is your equipment. So this is the currently selected ship, what cannons you have, and you get to see what's in the hold, and modules. So modules you do actually carry with you, and if you have an outpost you can stick stuff in the warehouse. Now on the screen it's all fairly straightforward. Upgrades are your modules. Right, each module does a different thing, and these are highlighted in their description. If you pass over it, you'll get a tooltip. More means an increase, negative means a decrease. So, for example, this makeshift barricade, it'll give you 15% bonus to your defense, but it'll take away 20 from your attack. So you don't want to be attacking when you've got this on. Now, it'll also increase your reload times there by 10%. And so stuff like that. All the stats, fairly straightforward. At the moment, there's no classes. Presumably, that might be something that's implemented. As you can see, it's a 0 to 0. I haven't seen anything different on any ships or modules. Now, below, this is the important part, your weapons. So each ship will have a deck. One or more. So this is a 2-deck ship. And below each of the decks, and the front and the back, will be a class. This is actually your class. So this can hold a class weapon between 7 and 9, whereas this can only hold one between 8 and 9. And this information you can see in the weapon stats. So it's a medium cannon, 6 pounds, with a class of 8, caliber of 6, and a weight of 2. I don't know how much the weight affects it, or if it even does at this time. Hold up. Yeah, I thought so. So interesting. So AI Snows come equipped with 9-pound cannons, which are a class 6 weapon, so they cannot actually be fitted to the ship by you. So if you have one and want to keep it, don't do what I just did and take it off. We'll fix that up later. I'll replace it with just a general 6-pound. So yeah, so these ones are fairly restrictive. And that's basically it. That's the information that's key to equipping your ship. Next up is skirmish. It's not available yet. And then the shop. So the shop lists ships that are available. These, as far as I can tell, do change. And of course they'll have a bunch of random stats, and those stats will affect the costs of the ship. So for example, it's a basic Trincomalee, it's got nothing special, it's only 75,000. I have seen them for more when they're, a common or rare. I can't think of what the next stage up is. And you can usually buy cannons, so various poundage levels of cannons. We'll probably want to buy some of these because we want to stick them on all of these slots. So we just have 6-pounders across the board. However, I do have some at another port, and we'll go there. And then finally modules. So these also change up, and there's exceptional, fine, common, and basic. A lot of the basic modules probably aren't worth your time, especially if you're in a small ship, because they only give you a tiny increase, for example, extra hammocks. A 2% increase on a ship that only has 40 crew. It's going to give you nothing, virtually nothing extra. However, there are some rather good ones there as well, but they do cost, into the hundreds of thousands. So that's an overview of the shop setting and the harbour setting. And of course, you do get a bit of information here. How many are online, how many battles are going on, your details, of course, what rank you are, when you rank up next, and how much money that you currently have. So in general, it's all pretty straightforward, and if you have any questions, of course, feel free to pop them in the comments. In the meantime, we'll continue on with the video. We'll see you all next time.
Hello everyone, Death Stimulator here, bringing you a bit more naval action. After we set up our outpost and reached the rank of lieutenant actually out at Tortuga, very happy with that. We can now decently crew a snow. I decided I'd take a small lynx back to St. John's and English Harbour. And turns out we've run smack bang into a storm. I hadn't been in one before, and I thought I'd just show you guys a little bit of what's going on. So this will be quite dangerous. I'm really just trying to get to harbour as quickly as possible. Heading round from English Harbour to St. John's. And yeah, things are certainly picking up. Rain's getting more and more torrential. And quite a bit of lightning going on. And of course the seas are getting rougher. Rather cool stuff. And of course, English Harbour is downwind. So the plan is I'm going to get on board my privateer, kit it out with some extra hammocks that I picked up, and boarding parties, check if I've got any other modules lying around which will let me improve my boarding capacity, and start looking around for some frigate class ships. That's the plan at any rate. While the snow would take a beating better and dish out a little bit more damage, potentially, I really want to go with one of the small class ships that'll let me have the maneuverability and such. With maneuverability, I can probably get more shots off that'll do better. That's just getting completely drenched there, as the models do a little bit more clipping in open world than they do, of course, in battle or sea trials. So in any case, that's the plan. We'll be hunting for a frigate. Ideally, it'll be an AI frigate, not a player frigate. But with the privateer, we're probably going to head south at the moment, where we're going to be selling off our ships and basically looking to just set up more ports around the place. We've got a few decent quality ships. I think I might keep the Navy Brig, and I'll probably hang on to the privateer. I mean, we'll be going out in it, so I may as well keep it. This is getting a little worrying. Still, we'll stick with it. St. John shouldn't be too far off at this point. Mind you, I'm not seeing the silhouette on the horizon. In any case, hopefully we won't get sunk here. So if we zoom right in, that gives us a bit of a better look at what's going on. Not nerve-wracking in the slightest. It's a bad time to come back. Should have been a bit more observant. I did notice the rain, but I was hoping that it wasn't like a storm. And then, unfortunately, we were already around the tip by the time it really kicked off. There's some AI just trundling along as they do. So, I want to go north, but I feel that that's kind of the way the storm's heading. And also, we're so close. I mean, we can now make out the name. St. John's in the distance. I'm very happy I didn't bring my snow back. I was tossing up on it, but I'm like, no, I don't want to if I want to use the snow again, it's going to be out at Tortuga somewhere where we can get some decent farm, basically. For hunting, I want to use a privateer. I don't want to get stuck with any of the more standard ships, because that's really a recipe to get myself caught and sunk. Like, the snow's a bit slow, so against player ships, it's not going to really be able to outrun them if they're in something, especially if they're in something that has forward chasers. However, privateer's a bit trickier. Any of the small ships, basically, that can kind of run against the wind, essentially, gives us more avenues for escape. And I want to be able to do that, just especially while we're hunting some of the big ships. But yes, it looks like we've got a fellow Brit in a similar position to ourselves. Yes, AI do not care about such things. If you've caught the end of the last video, you would have noticed our AI sailing into Tortuga, actually. The island, I mean, not the port. Just ploughing straight through the land. Rather amusing, that. And that's kind of bound to happen from time to time. Well, looks like we might be stuck here for a while, so what I'll do is I'll jump away, and I'll catch up with you guys as soon as we've been able to make some progress.
Hello everyone, Death Stimulator here. Just checking back in. So we ditched the privateer as our means of hunting, and have grouped up with Alibertarian and Captain Office, and we're currently cruising along southeast in search of some action. Ideally, we're after players, though we will probably jump into the occasional match with some AI if anything particularly worthwhile comes up. So for the rest of the video, I'll show you guys a little bit about hunting, anything interesting that comes up, and at the end I will take you guys through the menus. Particularly for those who are like fairly new to open world or are looking to get into it. Yes, bemoaning the well-organised and aggressive Swedes, who often have been very, very pesky to the British with their solid organisation. What was I saying? Yeah, so at the end of the video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the shops, and just pass on some information that I've been told and picked up as I've gone along, in terms of purchasing and equipping items, and usefulness, that sort of thing. Because I've noticed almost regularly the help menu, there are questions relating to ships, guns, what can go with what, that sort of thing. And it can be helpful, even if you're not playing yet and you're looking to get into it later, to just have that information in the back of your mind. And if you weren't too sure yet, hadn't run into it yet, especially if you're just piloting the starting links, it's good to know for the future, especially when you start getting bigger ships and you want to equip different guns and have a different effect on the battle in that manner. Anyway, whoa, okay. We've been pulled into some fisticuffs suddenly and without warning. And a little bit against our will. Okay. So, what have we got? Oh. I see. So there were some other players around, I guess. I hadn't noticed them, and they picked a fight with an AI ship, and it's pulled us into that. Oh, hang on, we are not in open world. I can actually crash into my allies. This poor little privateer, though. If it was a player, it would be horrific. As an AI, it just doesn't know what's going on. So yes, unfortunately what happens when you attack someone is you get an area of effect ring around you. I've probably already said this, but just to reiterate, and it pulls in everyone on your team or the enemy's team. So you have to be careful, especially if you're chasing someone and you decide to grab them, because if their allies are nearby, oops. Oh, sorry, Death Spectre. Didn't actually mean to hit you there. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't really matter if we get any shots off here anyway. It's not like we'll be getting any points for this matchup. Maybe a little bit of XP and a little bit of gold, but we haven't hit it, and it's basically sunk here. It's way too high. Oh no. Got to get used to the way the Navy Brig fires, of course. Well, Cornish, you probably aren't going to be able to successfully capture at this point. As I think that... yep, that ship is gone. Now, naturally, I'm all for helping people, but at this point the ship's already sunk, so may as well get a little bit of damage and therefore a little bit of XP off there. Most unfortunate, that. Yeah, T-Key drops your yard sails, makes turning a heck of a lot easier. Once again, thank you so much to Kent who told me about that. It's, yeah. It's, yeah, just a lifesaver. Here, I'll just show for effect. Bam. Now, not such a big deal when you're with the wind, but when you're trying to turn against the wind. So, oh, sorry, can't actually see. There we go. Probably want to drop it. I'm no expert on this, but you probably want to drop it around some point here. And just execute like a reasonable turn. Except if you're like me and Gumby it up. Alright, we'll jump back out and continue on hunting. Yeah, 56 money. Woo. Fortunately, we don't have to pay for cannonballs yet. I'm not looking forward to having to pay for cannonballs and powder and crew and wages. Oh, wages. Don't know how detailed it'll go with it. I certainly hope it's not going to be too harsh on the wallet. Alright, well, I'll cut this here for the moment, and we'll pick it up again if something interesting comes along. Hopefully we won't be pulled into too many more battles like that. See you all shortly. Alright, so we've actually been set upon by, well, what is it? Navy Brig, a Brig, 2 Snow. Should be a rather interesting match. I was able to commandeer a Snow from some enemy ships. So I will be using that. It is somewhat damaged, however, which is less than ideal. And also they have the wind, which is going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with. Well, we got one hit at least. Gonna form up in line with Captain Office here, and hopefully be able to execute a decent fight. We don't have any bow or stern chasers, though, which means that this is actually going to be a fairly rough matchup in terms of just trying to lock people down. Of course, if they run into each other like that, all the better for us. I think he ran into his ally. It is a little hard to see from this perspective. Judging by their condition, I would say most certainly. Privateers made a mistake. Well, maybe not a mistake, but certainly not an advantageous fight. We'll run them down if we can. However, I have a sneaking suspicion that he won't stick around. Mind you, you never know. No, I don't actually want to board. Darn. Okay, good. We didn't actually finish that that action. Okay, so we're trying to set our sails up and actually just turn around against the wind here. Getting a little bit of help from this enemy snow. Of course, we return the favour by shooting them in the butt. Oh, it looks like the privateers come all the way in. Interesting. He has fallen into our trap. Maybe he doesn't realise that we're players. Well, in any case, chances are at this point he'll probably lose his ship for it. We're going for sinking here, of course. If it wasn't obvious with our double shot. Just trying to do as much damage as possible. It's not the most profitable way to go about it, but this point, trying to get it set up to do rolling fire. Well, that snow's not in a good way. But we are going to cop a heck of a lot of fire from the Navy Brig. Actually, we really want to make sure we get our Captain Officer's way. Should be able to manage it. Yeah, there we go. Gonna pop our repair on. Looks like Truckee is making their escape. Can't really blame them at this point. I certainly wouldn't want to stick around and fight the three of us. Really can never tell where some of these shots are going to go sometimes. It's all over the place. Where are we? Not doing well, that's for sure. Oof. Ricochets. Great to see, but horrible when they happen to you. I don't even know. Some of those shots were just completely wild. And yeah, it's set to do rolling fire. Usually it's a bit more accurate. Like that. Oh well. See if we can inflict some damage on the snow. However, they're in such an awkward position. Guess we'll just focus on getting these two. Good that the Brig was taken out so quickly though. Nice work, Captain Office. Boarding it. I hope they're alright actually. They look a bit low. Never mind, they're fine. Captain Office is completely fine there. And that snow is completely sunk. That Navy Brig is sinking shortly. And now we just have to deal with that very, very annoying snow. Anytime the AI is downwind, I just can't deal with it. Doesn't help, of course, that I'm incredibly inaccurate at long range. I'm going to guess. Let's have a look at our rudder. Our rudder looks alright. We've taken a lot of shots to the midsection. Probably the pump's damaged. Just throw it out there. And I'll get repairing the rest of our ship. Hopefully we should be in reasonable condition to sail. In any case. All in all, a rather successful little biff there. Not too bad. I mean, they were all AI ships. Now we just have to deal with that pesky critter. Primarily just going to focus on taking out his sails so we can get near him. Okay, so that looks like it's about right. Drop it a little bit. Fire. 7% or so, probably not that much, probably about 5 or 6. I didn't really see what they started on, but I doubt it was 100%. At this range we could probably get grape shot off. However, I'll just wait and see. Alright, switch up to chain. Sorry, not grape, but chain shot. That'll be better for taking out the ship. The ship's sails. Standard ball shot would be better for taking out the ship, of course. Looks like the snow is in amongst us again, which is good. Saved us the hassle of chasing it down. There shouldn't be any issue for Captain Office there and the surprise. Make quick work of it. We should have taken the yard sails in there. Still readjusting to the snow. It's amazing, I spent way too much time trying to readjust to the privateer. I just was not getting it. All ended up being a bit of a colossal waste of time. Libertarian just chipping away at them nicely. I probably shouldn't say a libertarian, it's probably a libertarian. I should really, I'll ask. Unfortunately, I tend to read things without thinking through. My apologies, by the way, if you do end up watching this. I pronounce everyone's names wrong. Except my own, of course, but even then, I've done it, I just haven't done it on camera and kept it. Ooh, looks like I'm getting a bit close to Captain Office there. Fortunately, we're able to turn out of the way in time. Can we get between them, though? That is the question. I forgot we had chain shot. So we just flogged the side of their vessel with chain. It's not terrible, but it's not effective by any stretch of the imagination. At least not for our aims of sinking the snow. I was looking at buying some ships today, actually. Surprise is about 45,000. We currently have 25,000 in the bank. And for a more reasonable ship like Trincomalee, you're probably looking at, well, the one that I saw was 171,000. So, not impossible. But rather time-consuming. Ideally, we'll go out and capture one of the frigates, at least one of the more sizable ones. Whew! We just avoided their arc of fire there. Or should I say, Captain Office shot in time to avoid hitting us. We are most grateful. We were a little bit close. Did not work out at all. Alright, and there they go. That should, in theory, be the end of them. Especially if Captain Office hits them with a broad... Yep, broadside there. Alrighty. Good stuff. For the moment, we'll leave it here. As usual, it's been Death Stimulator. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, do let us know, and please consider liking, commenting, favoriting, or subscribing, as your support does mean the world to me. I'll see you all next time.